You nicknamed our daughter after the Loch Ness Monster. Got the cameras. Hello, good evening. No, wow. Hi everyone. Today we have a lot to discuss, but first of all, I'd like to give you some essential life updates. Life update number 1. I cut myself while shaving again. Life update number 2, Allison was here last week. We had such a fun time. But what you need to know is that I did go cliff jumping. I don't have evidence of it because I was very nervous and there were lots of people around. But I did do it. Kind of better than you. Anyways, let's get on with today's topic that is extremely important. While Allison was here, we decided to embark on the journey that is the Twilight saga. We watched the first Twilight movie and I don't think I've ever experienced that many emotions in such a short period of time. Allison left, I have finished the rest of the series, and I have many thoughts. I have many notes and corrections that I think should be made. But something I would like to disclaim is no, I did not read the books, so who am I to talk? Right? Where do I even begin? Obviously, the acting is very questionable. The amount that Kristen Stewart blinks in these films makes me concerned about her optical health. I hope she's doing okay. Hope she got some eye drops. Really worried about that. I'm also worried about Robert Pattinson just in general. I think we all are. We've seen the TikToks. We know what's cringy, right? But there are some other little details that I picked up on that I have questions about, and I think they're things that nobody's really talking about. Number 1, whoever color corrected the first Twilight movie, I have a Google presentation to show you. I have a lot of questions for you. First of all, just why so blue? Why so blue? It's so blue to the point that the vampires have the same skin tone as the humans, and they're not supposed to. You should be able to tell the difference, right? But they're all just blue. Is this the Smurfs movie? I don't know. Can't tell. The screen is blue. I also love the couple frames throughout the movie, just a couple little frames that were not color corrected. Like in the fight scene, all of a sudden Robert Pattinson, our favorite, goes from ghostly pale to normal colored, and then the next clip he's back to blue. The next thing I would like to talk Something is wrong with me. The next thing I'd like to talk about, speaking of the cinematography elements, the movie feels very fast. There were so many times when I was watching all of the different movies where I felt like I accidentally skipped a scene. There's no transitions in the movies. It's like all of a sudden, I couldn't keep track of the days. They would be nighttime and they're almost making it. Oh my god, that's the other thing. So many times that Bella and Edward would almost make out. I was like, guys, really? You're just that couple. You're just that couple in high school that just stare at each other in the hallway and you're all over each other. I was like, that's you. Do you really want to be that person? I'm like, y'all gonna kiss? You can actually touch if you want to. You don't have to just you can kiss them. That's okay. You're welcome to. That's the other thing. Allison brought up a wonderful point while watching the film. Bella and Edward's only personality traits are that they like each other. Think of any other personality trait that these bitches have. 0. Edward. Do we know? I didn't know much about his backstory. Seemed like something that maybe they talked about in the book that I did not pick up on. Bella, what does she like to do for fun? Couldn't tell you. That brings me to my next point. Again, I didn't read the books, so maybe if I read the books, I would have a different perspective, okay? But based off of my movie watching, binging experience, I cannot fathom how anybody would not be Team Jacob. Do you know how many times as a child I was asked that question by my peers and I had to tell them I don't know because I didn't read the books? Well, now I have an answer for you, and my answer is I am Team Jacob, and anybody who is Team Edward, worried about you. And here's why. Jacob is the only fucking character in that whole journey who has an ounce of a personality. And ounce, literally a teaspoon, okay? A teaspoon of personality. My man builds bikes, right? We know a little bit about his backstory. He talks to Bella about things other than just wanting to be with you forever. I don't want to hurt you. He talks about yeah, most of the words that come out of his mouth are along the lines of, Bella, you know that I should be with you. You know I'm better for you. I mean, that's most of his words, but the other half are personality traits. He wants to connect with Bella on an emotional level. Robert Pattinson barely says anything in all of those movies, and when he does, he looks like he's about to throw up, okay? So how could you be Team Edward? My man has no personality. My man barely says anything. My man, in my opinion, is not that attractive. My man's fashion sense as well. The whole first movie... Oh my God, I cannot talk to you today. Somebody call 911. Shot his name. The whole first movie, Edward Cullen's fashion sense is apparently a short, women's looking coat. I had questions about it. I had a lot of questions about it. And the fact that he was wearing it the whole time. You've lived 108 years. And that's the only outerwear clothing you've collected. Also, are they in Washington? Are they in Alaska? At the beginning of the movie, I thought she moved to Washington. But then by the end of the whole series, I was like, wait a second, were they in Alaska this whole time? I have no idea. That's okay. Here we go. Next point. The plot, like the subplot, like the main plot of the movie with like the like vampire committee or whatever. Like I could not follow that. All I had an easy time following was the love story. Everything else with like what they were fighting about, what the clash between the vampires and the werewolves, what they were why they didn't like each other, why they were in Rio de Janeiro for a second, like why there was like a whole clan of vampires there. I could not follow along with that plot. And also that might be a me problem. I'm really bad with following along with the plots of movies, and I blame the public education system, because in high school when we would watch a movie, we would have those little pieces of paper and you'd have to like fill in the blanks of the plot so they knew you were paying attention. But that also ruined my ability to just follow a plot naturally, because the whole time I'm not watching the movie, I'm just sitting there waiting for them to say that one sentence so I can fill in the word, and then next thing you know, I have no idea what the movie is about and I gotta write an essay on it. So I had a really hard time following that like subplot. Again, I'm sure it was all explained in the book, but from an outsider's perspective, couldn't follow along. By the time I got to Breaking Dawn, I had given up at that point, and anytime there was a scene with like those guys from like Rio or wherever they were and they're coming, whatever, I skipped over it because I'm like, I don't understand what's going on. I don't know why they're angry. What happened to that one redhead bitch in the first movie who wanted to kill them, and then the second movie she wanted to kill them? Like, what happened to her? There's a lot of holes in the plot. I don't need you to answer these questions. Maybe they're better left unanswered, but just as a watcher, I didn't get it. So yeah. I'd also like to talk about the makeup. So I know vampires, pale, whatever, but I'm like, guys, James Charles can do a better job than you. The makeup just looks so cakey and awful. I'm like, you really couldn't figure out a better way to do it? 12-year-olds can do their foundation better than that, and you really can't figure out a better way to like make it look somewhat okay and like natural. Feeling frustrated. It's 10 p.m. Jazzy's getting a little bit sleepy. I also don't understand the whole thing about like why they like shine in the sun. Like, I get it. If they go in the sun, then they like shine bright like a diamond, and so they don't want to go out in the sun because they don't want to like expose themselves that they're like, you know, different. But I guess growing up, I mean, there were many peers of mine who were convinced that they were vampires, and they were like, I can't go out in the sun. And I always thought it was because like they thought that like if you go out into the sun, like they were gonna like die. And so in the first movie, when he was like going into the sun, I was like, bro, you're gonna like die. And then he just shines bright like a diamond. And so I was like, what's the big deal? Like, what else is happening when they're in the sun? If I was a vampire, I'd want to be in the sun all day long, because I would want to just be shining bright like a diamond 24 hours a day, 27 if I, Jasmine, were a vampire, I would personally make the decision to shine bright like the sun 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, because it would be cool. That was a tough one to get out. In conclusion, the films did not answer a lot of questions. They raised a lot of questions, and they did not answer essentially any of them. But then again, if you were to ask me to turn a book into a movie, would I be able to do a better job? Absolutely not. Also, why does Taylor Lautner speak his lines as if he's at the table read for a high school musical? Not High School Musical, but in high school. Okay, if anyone was in high school theater, I was not, but you know what I'm talking about. So the first day of rehearsals, right? And you all sit in a circle and you all go through and read the script, and everybody's kind of acting but also kind of just speaking it because they don't want to give it their all, and then everyone's going to be like, whoa, you don't have to go that hard for the table read, but they also don't want to look like they're not putting effort because they want to prove to everyone that they deserved to get that role. So it's kind of this awkward monologue but also just speaking. It's really interesting. That's how I heard Taylor's lines. He would say something along the lines of Bella, you know you have feelings for me, okay? And he should probably say it Bella, you know you have feelings for me. But instead he says it Bella, you know you have feelings for me. Does that make sense? It's Bella, you know you have feelings for me. It's he's practicing lines with his mom. Do you know what I mean? Could I do better? 100% never. And then we have to talk about also my favorite scene, Breaking Dawn Part 2. Kristen Stewart runs outside. You imprinted on my daughter? And then Taylor Lautner's Bella, it's a wolf thing. That right there. I don't know why it's so funny to me. And big shout out to Kristen Stewart, man. Poor girl had to go through 5 movies. 5? Yeah, 5 movies of that shit. Girl, I'm here for you if you need me. Reach out if you need support. Those are my thoughts. I would love to know everybody else's thoughts about these movies in the comments down below. Comment down below. Let me know your thoughts. Comment down below. So yeah, that's that. Maybe I should read the books and see the difference. Glad we had this chat. Really needed to get those off my chest. It's been an interesting couple days. Allison left, and then I've had work, and then we had a whole avocado scandal at work. I won't go into any. I'll spare you the details. But it was quite the scandal. And then today we ran out of frozen bananas. Needless to say, life has been really rough. So I think I'm going to go to bed. But I love you a lot. Can't wait to have another one of these chats with you. Don't forget to drink water right now. Okay, love you, bitch. Excuse me? No, stop.